My name is Emily Carter. I'm 22, married young to my high school sweetheart Daniel. We live in San Diego near the coast. My story isn't about lust. It's about choices, guilt, and the secret life that began the night everything changed. It started on a Friday evening, the air heavy with salt from the ocean. Daniel had gone to a Navy friend's reunion, promising he'd be home before midnight. I didn't think much of it. These gatherings were rare for him. But when the clock passed 11, then 12, and my phone buzzed with a message saying he was too drunk to drive, a wave of irritation and worry rolled over me. I drove across town, headlights slicing through the empty streets. My thoughts swirled, frustration, exhaustion, the quiet resentment that builds when love meets routine. When I reached the address, the house was alive with leftover noise, laughter fading, bottles on tables, the smell of beer thick in the air. I wasn't angry anymore, just tired. A tall man opened the door, his eyes glassy from drink. "You're Daniel's wife?" he said with a smirk that made my stomach tighten. His tone was sharp, half amusement, half disdain. "Your husband's in the back, made a mess of my bathroom." He gestured toward the hallway, shaking his head. I walked past him, catching the sharp scent of alcohol and the fading echo of music. Daniel was sprawled on a couch, face pale and peaceful in his oblivion. I knelt beside him, brushing his hair back, whispering his name. He didn't stir. My heart softened. He looked so helpless, so far from the man who once made me laugh for hours. The host's voice cut through my thoughts again, rough but quieter now. "He's lucky to have someone like you," he said from the doorway. I wanted to leave, to take Daniel home and forget this night. But the man stepped closer, offering a drink as if to make peace. I hesitated, then took it. One sip turned into two, and the room felt smaller, quieter, filled with unspoken things. He talked about the Navy, about mistakes and debts, about how people change. I listened, caught between politeness and unease. The conversation lingered, heavy with tension neither of us named. Somewhere in the distance, a clock chimed. I remember thinking how strange it felt to be here, in this house, next to a man who barely knew me but seemed to see through me. When I finally stood to leave, he looked at me with an expression I couldn't read. That was the moment everything began to shift. The drive home that night felt endless. Daniel slept beside me, his head tilted against the window, unaware of the storm in my chest. Streetlights passed in golden streaks, and I kept wondering when our love had started feeling so fragile. I told myself it was just exhaustion, that tomorrow would reset everything. But deep down, something had cracked, quietly, almost beautifully. The next morning, sunlight poured into our apartment like nothing had happened. Daniel groaned, half awake, mumbling apologies for the night before. I smiled, said it was fine, and served him coffee. Yet my hands trembled slightly as I poured. There was a strange energy in me, guilt mixed with curiosity, fear wrapped in calm. It was the first time I realized how easy it was to hide emotions behind kindness. Days turned into weeks, but that night stayed like a shadow I couldn't shake. I found myself scrolling through photos of that party online, lingering too long on familiar faces. The host had moved away, someone said, gone to the East Coast for work. His name kept echoing in my thoughts, not out of desire, but out of confusion, how a single night could make me question years of devotion. Daniel noticed my silence, but mistook it for stress. He worked long hours, trying to make things better for us. I admired him for that. I truly did. But every time he reached for me, I felt a distance neither of us could bridge. It wasn't about another man. It was about something inside me that had awakened, a hunger for meaning, for danger, for something beyond the expected. One evening while cleaning the kitchen, I caught my reflection in the window. the same girl I'd always been, but with eyes that knew too much. I whispered to my reflection, "What are you doing, Emily?" The city lights outside flickered like they were listening. I wasn't proud of my secret, but it had given me a strange sense of power, like I finally existed beyond being someone's wife. Life went on. Work, dinners, laughter that sometimes felt rehearsed. Yet beneath the rhythm of our ordinary days, I felt a pulse, something alive and waiting. Every glance, every stranger's smile carried a new possibility. I didn't act on it, not yet, but I knew it was coming. The line I'd crossed once would call me again, and when it did, I wasn't sure I'd say no. Months passed like waves, calm on the surface but restless beneath. I began journaling, small entries at first, pieces of thought I couldn't say out loud. Daniel noticed I smiled more, mistaking peace for healing. But it wasn't peace, it was awakening. I had stepped outside the version of myself built from years of pleasing others, and for the first time, I was meeting the woman I truly was. I took long walks near the ocean. The water was unpredictable, calm one moment, violent the next, like the human heart. I stood there often, wind brushing my face, wondering how something so vast could make me feel so small and yet so free. I didn't hate my husband. I didn't love him less. I was simply learning to love myself differently, and that realization scared me. Daniel noticed my distance but didn't know how to reach me. We had dinner one night in silence, both pretending everything was fine. I looked at him and saw the boy I once loved, the man who still tried. My heart ached for him and for me. Change wasn't betrayal, it was growth, and growth often looks like breaking before it becomes beautiful again. One evening, I packed a small bag, not to leave, but to think. I drove until the city lights faded behind me. I found a quiet inn by the coast and checked in under my maiden name. For 2 days, I wrote, walked, and breathed without expectation. It felt like pressing a reset button, hearing my own thoughts again. It wasn't rebellion, it was rebirth. When I returned, Daniel was waiting. He didn't shout or cry. He just looked at me, really looked, like seeing me for the first time. "You okay?" he asked softly. I nodded. That night we talked for hours, not as husband and wife, but as two people finding their way back to themselves. Sometimes love doesn't need fixing, it just needs truth. Now, when I think of that night, the one that started everything, I don't feel guilt anymore. I feel gratitude. Life had to fracture for me to see the pieces clearly. We're still together, but different. Stronger, honest, a little scarred, but real. My name is Emily Carter. I'm 22, and this is how I found myself, not through perfection, but through the courage to face my own truth.